Right now, everyone is speaking out on the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that has come to fruition since George Floyd's murder. And it is bringing up topics that are hard to talk about. So we're going to talk about them. Hey guys, I'm Sami Womack from A Sunny Side Up Life. And unfortunately, this week we are here to talk about Dave Ramsey's response to this movement and everything that is happening, and the YouTube video that he put out called Let's Talk About Racism. I'll link to it in the description if you have not seen it. For those of you who don't know, I also host a Sunny Side Up Life podcast where I come out with a podcast every single Thursday, and you can find me on all major podcasting apps. And this week's new episode, I talked all about my take on the Black Lives Matter movement, why it is important for me as a white woman to come out and share my voice and use my platform. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, I will also link to it in the description. Before we jump into that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment below with some of your feedback. So we are here to talk about Dave Ramsey's tone-deaf response to George Floyd's murder and everything that has come since then. Adamant Dave Ramsey supporters are now coming out saying they have canceled him or unfollowed him or are not using his hashtags anymore. And we're talking about people who have traveled to Ramsey Solutions office to do their debt-free screams, who are now appalled at his response. And so I obviously curiosity, and I was like, what the hell did he say in this video that people are this upset about? So I watched it and I formed my own opinion, which is what I recommend for you to do as well, because you might not agree with me. My first thought, what did people expect? I was not shocked. I was not shook in any way by his response. It was basically exactly like I thought his response would be. It was cold. It was almost mocking of people being upset. It was basically 30 minutes of him saying, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. Look, Anthony O'Neill's sitting right next to me. I'm not racist. I hired Anthony O'Neill. And it was 30 minutes of him saying, stop bullying us on Instagram. Obviously, we're not racist. Saying that you're not racist is not enough. We have to be anti-racist. We can't just say, I have one black friend. I'm not racist. I hire black people. That's not enough. And that is essentially what Dave Ramsey did in this video. And I wasn't surprised. I wasn't shocked. I don't think that he's a monster or anything. I think that he basically took a very neutral approach, which we've seen a lot of people do right now. And that is their right. The little bit of defense that he did have, he did say, it was a murder. He did say that it wasn't right. He did say that he loves all people, that he hires based on merit, not on skin color. And I applaud that. Great. That's wonderful. But I feel like right now that is a neutral stance. Like, that is a middle ground. That is a bare minimum of what we need right now. And good for him that he at least did that he didn't make matters worse, but he definitely did not make matters better. As someone with millions of people in their audience with a huge platform, I feel like he wasted a golden opportunity as a strong white male leader with millions of followers that could have spoke up and could have brought real change to this issue. And I feel like he basically put a little band-aid on it and pushed it to the side, and he's gonna hope it goes away. And that was his choice. It was. And if people are getting off his bandwagon because of that, that's their choice. You know, I mostly feel a little disappointed that he wasted his platform when he could have really made a difference. And there are a lot of strong white leaders right now who are coming out, who are supporting the movement. And that's what we need as white people. Like, we have to come out and we have to support. And I read comments. I read the comments on that YouTube video. I read some comments on his recent Instagram post. He pissed people off just that little bit of saying, like, you know, hey, let's be nice to each other. That pissed some of his followers off. And I'm like, that is the most neutral stance that you could take at this point, and people were still mad that he showed that much support for the movement. The rest of us who were like offended or outraged that he didn't do enough, those are the people who are jumping off the bandwagon. So to the people who were feeling shocked by Dave Ramsey's cold response, I basically feel like, were you guys not paying attention over the years of all of his other cold responses? I feel like people are now starting to realize that the empathy has never really been there. His advice during COVID was very cold as well, and I feel like very out of touch, not understanding how many people were actually struggling, were actually without a job. There are people who got off of the Dave Ramsey bandwagon simply because they don't believe that $1,000 is enough for baby step one. There are a lot of people who feel like his investing advice is subpar. Like, it is the bare minimum of what you should do for investing. For me personally, I don't like the advice of you have to go to college. And to me, I feel like college is not for everyone. And I feel like that advice is not a one-size-fits-all advice. His stance on divorce, I know, has torn up several people. Divorce is heartbreaking, and it's really hard when someone that you have looked up to is so harsh to you about it. He is very alienating to the gay community. There are tons of amazing same-sex couples in the debt-free community that definitely deserve a Dave Ramsey share. They still follow his advice. They still support him, and he doesn't even support their basic human rights to love who they love, marry who they marry. That definitely breaks my heart. And he's always been very cold with those responses, very harsh with those responses. People look up to him sometimes like he's a spiritual leader, like he is the next Jesus. And guys, let's calm down. Like, he's not. He's not. He's a man. So I'm going to read you a quote from Baby Stepping to Freedom, Allison's post, and I'll link to it in the description as well, because I thought that she really summed it up really well, and I adore her and I love following her. If you don't follow her, jump over and follow her. So this is her quote. After Dave's episode discussing racism, I felt an even bigger distance from his teachings. It was clear from the episode that Dave took a neutral stance, as he could continue to appeal to the masses. He really failed to address how systematic racism and white privilege plays a role in personal finance. This is an oppressive voice that I choose to no longer support. And I think she spoke for a lot of us perfectly, and that's why I wanted to use her quote. And I feel like he did. He went about it very much like his white privilege was attacked, and even shared an anecdote about getting pulled over. And one time when Anthony O'Neill was with him, and even mentioned how he smarted off to the police officer. And it was a little uncomfortable. Like, it was an awkward story. And I felt like poor Anthony O'Neill, he sat there the whole time and he was just kind of like, yep. And I feel like he really, we deserved better. Someone with such a huge following, with such a cult-like, devout following, could have used his platform to change things. And he didn't. And I am disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I feel like we all kind of knew that this is how it was. And I feel like this is a perfect example of how, as humans, we have to speak up and be anti-racist. We have to speak up, use our platform, address when there are issues, especially white people right now. We have got to make a stance that this is not okay. To me, this is a human rights issue. This is a basic, if that was my husband, my brother, my child, myself, how would I feel? And I would feel pissed off. And that is what we needed to hear. And that's what we didn't hear. So that's my take on it. Whew. That wasn't really a fun video. Like, I have been enjoying doing fun videos on YouTube. That was not fun. But life is not fun right now. So, again, I'll link to everything in the description that I mentioned. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. All right. Bye, guys.